This is Mateo Bouillon. And I'm going to tell you a little bit here. This property, you notice there's Brundrett Street, there's Oak Street, Allister Street, White Street. In around 1908, 1910, the state of Texas sold these tracts. Jed R. Brundrett bought a tract, and it's called the Brundrett Survey. And that's why there is Brundrett Street. Now, Brundrett Survey is, and they were blocks. The Brundrett Survey is on the other side of Allister Street, and that was Brundrett Street. Oaks Survey was over here, and there's Oak Street. But this block from Allister to Station, and it's bordered by Brundrett and Oaks on this side, was bought by Mateo Bouillon in 1910 from the state of Texas. His children were Valley Bouillon, Adolphe Bouillon, Lawrence Bouillon, Katie Bouillon-Merkovich, Charles Bouillon, Janie Bouillon-Lister, Elmo Bouillon, John Bouillon, and then Olga and Matthew Bouillon, who died in infancy, the last two. Now Mateo Bouillon gave this property here to the Catholic Church. He gave part to the city. That's that little house over there. We call that the City Hall. And then he had his house here. His daughter, Janie Lister, had her property over there. But one of the sons, Charles Bouillon, is the same that you've heard of Charlie's pasture. Charlie was Charles Bouillon. Now, Charles Bouillon was born in 1906. And he married Viola Thompson in 1929. And Viola is here with us today. So this is Charlie Bouillon's widow. And remember, Charlie Bouillon is the same as the Charlie's pasture. It's called Charlie's pasture because, think back in your mind's eye that you had these surveys, these blocks. You had the Brundrett family, you had the Bouillon family, you had the Oaks family. All of these people lived about a block from each other. Now, there were no roads. What you had were cow paths. And if you look at the old pictures, there would be fences around the houses to keep the cows out. And although the cows didn't run free, I don't think, I don't know that, they did. They ran free. Okay. But Charlie would take, I think it was goats, wasn't it? He would move the goats from one pasture to the other, and he kept them out there by the channel, and that's where the name of Charlie's pasture came from. Viola doesn't remember how old she is, but she thinks maybe she was born in 1912. That would make her 93 years old. And she's up here with her nephew, Dale Merkovich.
No, but I remember stories that when they got married, all the men took Charlie out to the cemetery and flew them back to town. It scared him so bad.
Cheryl Reed. You know what they did?
No, tell everybody.
Yeah. Cheryl Reed, Cheryl Readers, they keep you up all night long. They don't let you go to sleep.
I used to do that.
Talking to you and all kinds of things.
They just wouldn't let you go to sleep.
Dancing, everything, anything.
And who would do this?
Huh?
Who would do this?
The people,
Everybody.
everybody.
How many?
It was just, everything was like a big family then. Everything was just like a big family, and people did things together. I mean, they all got together for dinners and for dances and for anything. They'd all get together and take part.
Who was the oldest person on the island that you remember? Who was the oldest person that you remember?
The oldest
When
person,
you were young, who was the oldest person?
what was her name?
Was it a Mercer?
Huh?
Was it a Mercer?
Wasn't John Mercer?
Johnny Mercer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was John Mercer, Johnny Mercer.
And, well, tell about like you did last year.
And see, I'm not together to do that. I hope
That's okay.
that
Can
knows
you-
not here.
Yeah, can you tell, when you came back from Dallas, you had gone to Dallas for a hurricane, and you were a young girl, and when you came back, they dropped you off at the harbor
Yeah, downtown.
downtown.
And I walked all the way out to the stairs. My hands.
That was over on the slough. What's it called, the slough? I don't know, the Ragtown slough? The dryers.
Who was your aunt?
Myrtle is her aunt.
Well, let's talk about that. Now, we talked about the Bouillon family, about Mateo Bouillon. Now, Viola had two sisters?
Holly and Jessie.
Uh-huh. And Jessie married who?
Johnny Matthews.
Johnny Matthews. And your other sister?
She married Benford.
Did she stay on the island?
No,
No, she
she moved
left.
to Fort Worth.
Okay. And so she married Johnny Matthews, and they had how many kids?
Whew. About a dozen, I think. I don't really remember.
I remember when, before Mary D was.
Four,
born,
I
they
think
called
it was.
Battleship and the Three
Three boys.
Destroyers.
3 boys and 1 girl.
And they called it the what?
They called
Three destroyers.
The Battleship and 3 Destroyers.
Battleship and 3 destroyers. They see them coming. And they say, here comes the battleship with its 3 destroyers.
And you had three. How many children did you have?
2.
2.
Charlotte and Charles.
Uh-huh. And Jessie had 4 children.
Johnny and Charlie and Mary
And Billy.
and Billy Boy.
And
And Charlie Boy died with cancer. And I really don't know what happened to the rest of them, but I don't.
Yeah, Billy Boy died in cancer too. Johnny Martin's still here.
and
Both
Johnny
of them
Martin.
died, Billy Boy and Charlie Boy, both with
Is
cancer.
Johnny Martin? Johnny Martin's not here,
Johnny
is he?
Martin, he's still here, isn't he?
He's not here this time.
He's not here?
Johnny Martin, Johnny Martin and Mary D are still living.
Yeah, they're still alive.
Johnny Martin and Mary D are still living. They're both, I don't know where.
Well,
Mary Dean is
Rockport.
Rockport, I think, isn't it?
Yes.
Billy Boy and Charlie Boy are in
Now,
it.
and Charles,
Actors, you remember these?
you remember Woody?
Woody Longley.
Yes, I remember Woody.
Now, did you? Now, you saw a picture of the community center,
Uh-huh.
And you said, again, everybody turned out and did something for the community center. What did you do at the community center?
Mostly bring the food and stuff.
To the men?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember when the war ended?
1912, I believe, wasn't it?
No, the World War II, 1945.
No,
No.
I don't remember. I should.
I remember.
Yeah. And
Everybody used to go to Elmo's right over here and play poker. Our parents did. Remember, we had to put blankets on the
Did you-
windows because we
Yeah.
had
did you
blackouts.
play poker at Elmo's? Did you play poker at Janie's house?
She played to everybody.
You played at everybody's house.
We all did.
Did you play poker or gossip?
We played poker. Plain old poker. For money.
For money?
For nickel.
Charles, your son Charles lives with you.
I live with my son Charles.
With your son Charles, and he's no, Mark.
That's all right. That's all right. He's all right. Right here. Yeah. Nice doggy, I know.
Okay. Yeah, Charles was here to prompt you. You don't remember how you and Charlie met?
No, I don't.
Do you remember when y'all got married? Remember your wedding?
I remember we stayed up all night.
Now, Charlotte, was Charlotte born at home or in a hospital?
I'll have to think about that. I think she was born at home.
She was born at home,
Came in with high tide.
and
He
then
was born in the hospital.
and then Charles was born in the hospital. So you had a doctor came over here,
Mhm.
and
He from Aransas.
he'd come from Aransas. When you were sick, would the doctor come over here?
Mhm.
And how often would you go to Aransas Pass?
Nancy, ask her if it was Dr. Bull.
Not very often.
Because you didn't have a car. How would you get to Aransas Pass if you went over there?
By boat.
By boat?
Uh-huh.
And then you would walk to the downtown
Walk to work,
stores?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I went to school over there and I used to have to walk a good distance each day to and from school.
Uh-huh. So you went, every day you went over there by boat? Over there and back for school?
I assume I must have because I finished school.
Yeah.
I don't
She
remember.
said, earlier, she said it was a doctor or.
Yeah, or Dr. Orr. O-R-R.
You remember Pete Sims?
Yeah, Billy
And Pete?
What?
Uh-huh.
Billy was her husband. Pete was a nurse,
Uh-huh.
and she took care of just about everybody. He's all right.
Mark? Is Mark here?
I'll get you a chair up here, Mark.
We're going to get you a chair, yeah, and let you do the talking.
Can you remember anything else?
When I first came over here, I thought, when they let me out, I thought to myself, well, I've come to the end of the world. And the further away from the bayfront I got, the more I thought it. But I walked to my aunt's house. It was a long way. And that's where I stayed till, for a while, till I got settled. And then I met my husband, and we got married. And then we got chivalry, which I don't think they do anymore. But they keep you up all night, you don't sleep. And just play tricks and stuff on you like that. About the time you think you're going to get to sleep, but sure enough they descend and you don't go to sleep. And it's just, that's the way it goes. It was that way then.
Okay.
Thank you, Viola. Appreciate it.
How old are you? My next big birthday will be 100.
He's already started off live.
So I'm 90.
Okay.
And Woody, how did you get to the island?
Well, it had an old jitney.
A what?
Come on rail, come out to Harbor Island, and then had no paddle wheel ferry.
Hey, tell about how you got to Rockdale.
Where were you born? Let's start there.
I was born in Oklahoma.
Okay. And then, how old were you when you got to Texas?
I was about between a little under 10.
Okay. And then you were in Robstown?
No, I never lived in Rockdale.
Oh, okay. For y'all who don't know,
I lived in Dallas.
this is Woody Ousley. He had the Woody's. You may
Woody's
know
Boat Basin.
Woody's Boat Basin. Butch Ousley, Marie Stewig, Bobby, Butch, Vivi, Simmy, Sylvia, and Scotty all grew up here. And Butch and Marie are still here, and Sylvia is just come back. She's the principal at the school. And so anyhow, is there anything you'd like to tell about yourself, Woody?
Well, my first acquaintance with this island, I was a city boy. I was raised up in Dallas. And my dad was a commercial fisherman down here. But they had separated and divorced. And I didn't like the attitude up there, so I found where he was and I got down here. And he was a commercial fisherman.
What was his name?
My dad?
Uh-huh.
Scott.
Scott Ousley.
Scott out.
And so you came down here and you were a commercial fisherman.
Yeah, man, I was used to a good life in Dallas. Came down here, and he'd moved down here temporarily, originally, and lived in Ragtown.
Okay. Can you tell everybody where Ragtown was? What Ragtown was too?
Well, it's down here where the
Ryan Flanagan.
university. The university is down there.
Uh-huh.
Well, that was the office for the Corps of Engineers.
Uh-huh.
And everybody, when the newcomer come in, they'd come down fishing most of the time. That's what mine did. And liked it and stayed.
Well, why did they call it Ragtown?
They lived in tents.
They lived in tents.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And about what year was this?
Oh,
Like in the 20s, 30s?
yeah. No, that was in the 20s.
In the 20s?
Yeah.
Came here in 1927.
Came in 1927. And who taught you how to fish?
I had to learn to fish and go hungry.
Well, did you teach yourself or did you learn from other people?
I was pretty smart when I was that age. I was a city boy, and I come down here, and I was on the dock down there, and Usually I had much money in my pocket as them damn boatmen did.
What did you catch?
Huh?
What did you catch?
What did you catch? What kind of fish did you
I
catch?
clean fish, I do anything to make a little money.
But what kind of fish would you catch when you went fishing?
Mackerel and trout.
What would they do with the mackerel?
And fish houses here to sell them.
At fish houses here to sell them.
Selling it.
And
Jack Haley had a fish house.
Jack
Haley?
Haley
Yeah.
Fish House.
Yeah.
And where would you like? Was there a grocery store here?
Oh, Lord, yeah. DJ Loomis had a store here.
DJ Loomis. I don't remember Loomis.
Where the store is now? That's where it was then.
The Galdens, where the souvenir city is. That's where the grocery store was. And where did you live when you lived in Ragtown? And how did you meet Lorraine?
Lorraine.
Jessie May.
Lorraine's sister.
Brother named Jesse.
Now wait a minute. Who were you married to, Woody?
Which time?
There we go. Okay. Who were you first married to? What was your first wife's name? Jessie May. Matthews. Howard. From Aransas Pass.
Yeah.
And
I met her at a dance. We used to have a dance here most every Saturday night. That's where I met her.
for y'all who haven't seen Woody dance, or any of